Olivia wiped her eyes. You're funny. Boyfriend and girlfriend? I don't have time for that nonsense. Oliver shook his head, amused but serious. I'm not joking, Olivia. I mean it. She folded her arms. And what exactly do you mean by girlfriend? Because if you think I'm the type that will start doing romantic nonsense with you, you're mistaken. I've never dated before, and I'm not ready for that kind of thing. Oliver's eyes widened slightly. You've never dated before? Olivia scoffed. No, I haven't. I've been too busy trying to build a life for myself. Oliver nodded slowly. I understand. And I'm not asking for anything you're not comfortable with. I just want us to be more than friends. No intimacy, no pressure. Just you and me, getting to know each other better. Olivia eyed him suspiciously. Are you sure? Yes. Oliver smiled. 100% sure. She sighed dramatically. I don't know if I should say yes. What if you start behaving like other men? I won't, Oliver assured her. I respect you, Olivia, and I admire you more than I can even explain. Olivia looked at him for a long time before exhaling. Fine, we can try. Oliver grinned. Really? Yes, she said, shaking her head. But no funny business. If you try anything, I will break your head. Oliver laughed. Deal. And just like that, Olivia became his girlfriend. Not because she needed love, not because she was desperate, but because she had met someone who genuinely respected her dreams. Oliver sat outside the yard, resting his back against the wooden bench as he watched Olivia work. It was a sight he had grown accustomed to, her small but steady hands kneading dough, her face creased in concentration, and the soft hum of a song escaping her lips as she molded her future one flower ball at a time. For weeks now, they had built something rare, something neither of them fully understood, but it felt natural. Olivia had become more than just a friend to him. She was his comfort, his source of wisdom, and the only person who saw him not as a poor man, but as someone valuable, someone worthy of respect. Each time he sighed in frustration over money, she would place her hand on his and tell him, everything will be okay, Oliver. Just keep pushing. Life is golden, and as long as we have life, we have hope. And when he truly needed help, she never hesitated. She never made him feel less of a man because he was struggling. One evening, as they sat together under the dim glow of a lantern, Oliver sighed and shook his head. Olivia, I hate this feeling of not having enough. I hate that I can't provide, that I have to rely on you. Olivia chuckled as she scooped some dough into her palm. Who told you that you have to provide for me? Oliver looked at her. Isn't that what a man is supposed to do? Olivia shrugged. A man is supposed to provide, yes. But when he can't, does that mean he is less of a man? Oliver, money is important, but it's not the only thing that defines a person. If I have today, why shouldn't I help you? Who knows? Maybe tomorrow, it will be your turn to help me. She reached into her small bag and pulled out a 1,000 naira note. Without hesitation, she placed it in Oliver's hand. Take this, she said. Oliver looked at the money, then at her. Olivia, you don't have to keep doing this. She smiled. And you don't have to keep rejecting it. He exhaled deeply, staring at her. What kind of woman is this? She had nothing, yet she gave like she had everything. She treated him like a king even when he had nothing to offer. That night, as Olivia worked on her products, Oliver made a decision. He was going to test her. The next afternoon, Oliver's friend, Daniel, sat across from him in a small office inside Oliver's massive company. Unlike Oliver, who was dressed casually, Daniel wore a well-tailored suit, his gold wristwatch glinting under the bright office light. You want me to test her? Daniel asked, rubbing his chin. Oliver leaned back in his chair. Yes, I want to know if she will fall for money. Daniel chuckled. I don't know, Oliver. This girl doesn't seem like the type to be moved by money. Then let's confirm it, Oliver said. Invite her to a pub. Tell her you have a company that can buy her products. Offer her a factory. Promise her everything she has ever dreamed of, but only if she agrees to be your girlfriend. Daniel raised an eyebrow. And if she agrees? Oliver's jaw tightened. Then it means she was never different. Daniel exhaled. All right, let's see what happens. That evening, Olivia arrived at the pub, adjusting her small handbag as she stepped inside. She looked around until she spotted Daniel sitting in a corner, a confident smirk on his face. "Olivia," he greeted, pulling out a chair for her. She sat down. "You wanted to see me?" Daniel nodded, folding his arms. "Yes. I've been watching you for some time now, and I must say, I'm impressed." Olivia raised a brow. "Impressed?" "Yes," Daniel continued. "Your business, your drive, your hard work. It's rare to find women like you. And that's why I want to help you." Olivia frowned slightly. "Help me how?" Daniel leaned in, his voice dropping to a smooth, persuasive tone. "I own a big company, Olivia. If you agree, I will buy all your products in bulk. Not just that, I will personally fund a factory for you." Olivia's eyes widened slightly. "A factory?" "Yes." Daniel smiled. "A factory, Olivia. Your dream, finally within your reach." For a moment, Olivia remained silent. Her dream? How did he know about her dream? It sounded too good to be true. A factory of her own? A stable market for her products? Then she asked the most important question. "And what do you want in return?" Daniel grinned. "Simple. Be my girlfriend." Olivia's expression shifted instantly. The warmth in her eyes disappeared, replaced by something cold. "I see," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Come on, Olivia," Daniel pressed on. "What are you doing with that man who can't provide for you? Oliver, or whatever he called himself, is struggling. But me? I can give you everything you've ever wanted. Think about it. No more stress, no more struggle. Just say yes." Olivia exhaled sharply and pushed back her chair. She stood up, reaching for her small bag. "I will forgive you today, but do not utter such words about Oliver again. Not in your life," she said finally, and began to walk away. Daniel watched her in confusion. "Where are you going?" She looked him dead in the eyes. "I don't sell myself for money." Daniel laughed. "Oh, come on. Don't be naive, Olivia. Love won't feed you. Love won't build you a factory." Olivia's jaw tightened. "Maybe not. But I'd rather build my factory with my own hands than give myself to a man for money. So, thank you, but no thanks." With that, she turned and walked out of the pub. That night, Olivia sat outside, beside Oliver, narrating the entire incident. She didn't know it was a test. "Can you imagine?" She shook her head. "That guy actually thought I would leave you because of money." Oliver, who had been listening intently, leaned forward. "But Olivia, you need the money. You need a factory. Why didn't you accept?" Olivia turned to him, a soft smile playing on her lips. "Because love is not money, Oliver. If I wanted money, I would have chased after rich men. But I don't want money. I want something real. And I'd rather build my wealth with my own sweat than sell myself for it." Oliver stared at her, speechless. She had passed his test. She had proven, once again, that she was different. At that moment, he felt something deep in his chest. Love, admiration, and an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He had found her, the woman he wanted to spend forever with. And this time, he wasn't going to let her go. Oliver stepped into his company's main building, the polished floors gleaming under the bright office lights. His workers, dressed in corporate suits, greeted him with respect as he made his way to his private office. "Good afternoon, sir," a secretary said, handing him a few documents. "Good afternoon, Janet," Oliver responded with a smile before disappearing into his office. The moment he shut the door behind him, he let out a deep laugh, one that carried both amusement and relief. His best friend, Daniel, was already waiting inside, sitting on the couch with his legs crossed, sipping a glass of whiskey. "Oliver, you have me confused," Daniel said, shaking his head. "You own one of the biggest companies in the city, yet you're out there pretending to be broke. What exactly are you doing?" Oliver chuckled, walking over to his desk. "I'm searching for something money can't buy, Daniel." Daniel smirked. "And have you found it?" Oliver sat down, leaning back in his chair. "Yes. Her name is Olivia." Daniel let out a low whistle. "Ah, that one." He shook his head, laughing. "Oliver, I have to admit, I thought you were wasting your time. But after testing her last night, I see why you like her. That woman is gold, my friend." Oliver nodded, a satisfied smile on his face. I told you. Daniel leaned forward, placing his glass on the table. I'm serious, Oliver. Do not waste time. Marry that girl before another man sees what you see. Oliver exhaled, rubbing his chin. I know, Daniel, but I still want to take my time. I don't want to rush into anything. Daniel groaned, shaking his head. Time? What time? Oliver, listen to me. You can buy anything in this world, cars, houses, businesses, but you cannot buy a woman like Olivia. She is one in a million. Oliver smiled at the truth in Daniel's words. Daniel continued, Do you know how rare it is to find a woman who will respect and adore a man who has nothing? A woman who would rather struggle with her own hands than sell herself for money? And let's not forget how she treats you. You said it yourself. She respects you like you're the one providing. She never makes you feel less of a man, even when she's the one giving you money. Oliver nodded, his heart swelling with emotion. That's true. She sees me as more than what I have. She sees me as a person, not a wallet. Daniel snapped his fingers. Exactly. And let's not forget that she is a giver. She takes care of orphans, she shares her little with people, and she never asks for anything in return. You don't see women like that anymore, Oliver. Most women want a man who will take care of them, but Olivia is the kind of woman who takes care of others. She is special, Oliver. And if you don't marry her fast, I will. Oliver burst into laughter. You? Daniel, please. Olivia will chew you up and spit you out. Daniel laughed as well. I know. I don't even have the patience for a woman like her. But that's why you must do the right thing, Oliver. That woman is your wife. She has already proven that she loves you, even when she thinks you have nothing. Imagine what your life will be like when she finds out you are a billionaire. She won't love you any less. Oliver sighed, his heart filled with gratitude. You're right, Daniel. Olivia is different. She is everything I've been looking for. Daniel smiled. Then what are you waiting for? Make her yours before another man comes along and sees what you see. Oliver leaned back in his chair, staring at the ceiling. Yes, he had tested Olivia, and she had passed. Now, there was only one thing left to do. Marry her. Oliver leaned against the wooden railing outside the bungalow, watching Olivia as she arranged her bags of flour. The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow on her face, and Oliver felt his heart swell with admiration. Olivia, he called, stepping closer. She turned to him with a smile. Yes, Oliver? I want you to come with me tomorrow, he said. She raised an eyebrow. To where? My friend just got back from abroad, and I need to go see him. I want you to come with me. Olivia hesitated. Oliver, you know I don't really go out much. Besides, what will I be doing there? Oliver chuckled. Just be with me. I don't want to go alone. She sighed playfully. Fine, but don't leave me alone there. Oliver smiled. I won't. The next afternoon, Oliver arrived outside Olivia's room, looking as simple as always in his faded jeans and a casual shirt. Olivia wore a beautiful but modest dress, her hair neatly tied back. They took a cab to the destination, and Olivia was surprised when they pulled up in front of an enormous mansion. Oliver, this place is huge, she whispered as they walked toward the entrance. He smiled but said nothing. A well-dressed butler opened the door for them, and Olivia's breath hitched as they stepped into the luxurious sitting room. The chandelier overhead sparkled like diamonds, and the furniture was nothing like she had ever seen before. Everything smelled expensive. Oliver, your friend must be really rich, she said, looking around in awe. Oliver nodded. Very rich. Then, he excused himself. I'll be back in a few minutes. Just sit and relax. Olivia watched as he walked away. She ran her fingers over the soft leather of the couch and looked around, admiring the golden-framed paintings on the wall. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed behind her. She turned around. A man stood before her, dressed in an expensive suit. His wristwatch gleamed under the lights, and his polished shoes clicked against the marble floor. Olivia blinked rapidly. The man in front of her looked like Oliver. No, it was Oliver. Her heart pounded. She wiped her eyes with her hands, thinking her vision was deceiving her. But when she opened them, he was still there, dressed like a billionaire, not a struggling man from the yard. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Then, another man appeared beside him. It was the same man who had tested her at the pub. You? She managed to say. Her hands trembled as she tried again to say Oliver's name, but her voice failed her. Then, Oliver bent down on one knee, revealing a sparkling diamond ring in his hands. Olivia's chest rose and fell rapidly. Olivia, Oliver said, his voice soft but steady. I am still the same man you've been with for the past months. The same man you fed, the same man you respected, the same man you encouraged. The only difference is that now, you know the truth. Olivia's hands clutched the fabric of her dress. She struggled to understand what was happening. Oliver took a deep breath. The truth is, I am not a poor man, Olivia. I am the CEO of one of the biggest companies in this country. I own this house. I own many businesses. I have wealth beyond what you can imagine. Olivia's mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. Oliver looked deeply into her eyes. Olivia, you are different. You gave without expecting anything in return. You never treated me like I was less of a man. You encouraged me, supported me, and respected me. I tested you the same way I tested Sophia, and you passed. Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes. Tested her? How? Oliver's voice softened. And that is why I am here today, asking you this one question. He held up the ring. Will you be my wife? Tears spilled down Olivia's cheeks as a million emotions rushed through her. Shock, confusion, overwhelming love. She took a deep breath, her hands shaking. Then, finally, she nodded. Yes, she muttered. Oliver's face broke into a joyful smile as he slipped the ring onto her finger. The moment he stood up, Olivia threw her arms around him, holding him tightly. The man beside them, Daniel, clapped loudly. Finally. Now, this is what real love looks like. Olivia was still seated on the soft, expensive couch, her fingers resting lightly on the ring Oliver had just placed on her finger. Her heart pounded with mixed emotions, happiness, confusion, and disbelief. Everything was happening so fast. One moment, she had walked into what she believed was Oliver's friend's house, and the next, she had been staring at him dressed in luxury, looking nothing like the struggling man she had always known. Now, she was engaged to a man she had always believed was poor. Oliver sat beside her, his eyes never leaving her face. He knew she was still processing everything, and he wanted to give her time. After a long silence, Olivia finally spoke. I still don't understand. You weren't just pretending to be poor. You were watching me all along? And you said you tested me like you did to Sophia? Oliver exhaled and leaned forward, taking her hands in his. Olivia, I need to tell you the whole truth. She nodded, her grip tightening slightly. Oliver sighed deeply before beginning. I was dating Sophia before I moved to the yard. Olivia's brows furrowed. Sophia? Yes. Oliver's expression darkened. You know her well, don't you? Olivia let out a small, bitter laugh. Of course I do. The fine girl that left you for a rich man. They both chuckled. Oliver shook his head. She left because she thought I had lost everything. I told her that I have lost everything and that the customs seized all my containers. I wanted to test her, Olivia. I wanted to see if she truly loved me or if she was just after my money. So, I told her I had lost it all. Olivia gasped, her heart squeezing. She didn't even hesitate, Oliver continued. She ended things right there and walked away. I was nothing to her the moment she thought I had nothing. Olivia's hands trembled as she processed his words. She blinked rapidly, trying to push back the wave of emotions rising in her chest. Oliver smiled. You are different, Olivia. You never asked me for anything. You gave without expecting anything in return. You encouraged me to keep hustling, you shared your dreams with me, and despite believing I had nothing, you still treated me like a king. Olivia swallowed hard. Oliver took a deep breath. But I had to be sure. That's why I sent Daniel to test you. I wanted to know if you would choose money over love. Olivia stared at him, her lips parting slightly. You sent him? Oliver nodded. Yes. She sighed deeply, shaking her head. And what if I had failed? Oliver reached out and gently tucked a stray curl behind her ear. Then I would have walked away. A tear slipped down Olivia's cheek. But I didn't fail. No. Oliver whispered. You passed in every way possible. A moment of silence stretched between them. Then Olivia laughed, a soft, incredulous laugh. Oliver raised an eyebrow. What? I can't believe I've been dating a billionaire all this time. She wiped her tears. And here I was, giving you my little 1,000 naira whenever you complained about money. Oliver chuckled. That meant more to me than you will ever know. Olivia shook her head, still overwhelmed. Then, she looked down at the ring on her finger again, and her smile softened. I guess this is the part where I say thank you for choosing me, she teased. Oliver grinned. No, Olivia. This is the part where I say thank you for loving me when I had nothing to offer but myself. She met his gaze, and in that moment, all the doubts faded away. Olivia reached out and cupped his face. I love you, Oliver. Not for what you have, but for who you are. Oliver's heart swelled. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly. But across the city, as the evening breeze swayed the curtains of a high-end restaurant, Sophia sat frozen in shock. For weeks, she hadn't seen her rich boyfriend. She had told him that she wanted a new apartment, and he had agreed to sort it out for her. But since then, she hadn't seen him. As she opened her Facebook, the first thing she saw shocked her, and she stared at the screen of her phone, her fingers trembling. The headline read, Billionaire Oliver Graham engaged. Former struggling man in a Face Me. I Face You yard turns out to be the CEO of Graham Industries. And beside the headline was a picture. Oliver, on one knee, sliding a ring onto Olivia's finger. Sophia's mouth went dry. The local girl in that yard? She reasoned. Then, as if a lightning bolt struck her, realization dawned. Oliver was the one who had set her up. The man who had handed her the card. It had all been a test. Was that why the man had never done anything tangible for her, except taking her to the pub or restaurants? She dialed the man's number, but it wasn't reachable. Again she tried, but the voice at the other end said that the number didn't exist. Her hands clenched into fists. Her breath came in quick, sharp gasps. She had left Oliver for what she thought was a better opportunity. But the real opportunity, the real prize, had been standing right in front of her all along. And now, she has lost him forever. The city had never seen a wedding like this before. It wasn't just because Oliver Graham was a billionaire, nor was it because the guest list was filled with influential personalities. It was because the love story behind this union was nothing short of magical. On the morning of the wedding, Olivia stood in front of the full-length mirror in her bridal suite, staring at her reflection. Her wedding gown was breathtaking, pure white with delicate floral embroidery, a symbol of the simplicity and beauty that defined her soul. The fabric hugged her figure perfectly, cascading down into a flowing train that shimmered under the golden lights of the room. Her heart pounded as she ran her hands over the silk. I still can't believe this is happening, she whispered to herself. Her bridesmaids, childhood friends, and her family surrounded her, their eyes filled with joy and admiration. Her mother wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. You deserve this happiness, Olivia, her mother said with a smile. You loved a man when he had nothing, and now, look at what love has brought you. Olivia exhaled softly, her heart swelling with emotion. She thought back to the days when she would sit outside her house, mixing flour, kneading dough, and dreaming about a future where she could own her own factory. She thought about the times Oliver sat beside her, listening to her dreams, encouraging her, and laughing with her. And now, she was marrying him. A gentle knock on the door interrupted her thoughts. The door opened, and there stood Oliver's best friend, Daniel, looking sharp in his navy blue suit. It's time, he announced with a grin. The grand hall of the church was adorned with white roses, golden chandeliers, and soft candlelight that bathed everything in a warm glow. The entire city seemed to have gathered to witness the union. As Olivia walked down the aisle, her heart pounded harder. She saw Oliver standing at the altar, looking at her with so much love that her eyes filled with tears. He was dressed in a white tuxedo with a black bow tie, standing tall and handsome, waiting for her. The moment their eyes met, Olivia felt the world fade away. When she finally reached him, he gently took her hand. You're beautiful local girl, Oliver chuckled. And you're everything I prayed for, lover boy, Olivia replied with a smile. The ceremony was emotional. Vows were exchanged, filled with promises of love, loyalty, and a future built on the foundation of something real. I, Oliver Graham, take you, Olivia, to be my wife, my partner, and my best friend. I promise to cherish you, support your dreams, and love you through every storm and sunshine. Olivia's voice trembled as she spoke her vows. I, Olivia, take you, Oliver, to be my husband, my heart, and my home. I promise to stand by you, love you not for what you have, but for who you are. I promise to build with you, grow with you, and cherish every moment we share. The priest smiled. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Oliver wasted no time. He pulled Olivia close, cupped her face, and kissed her with all the love in his heart. The hall erupted in cheers. It was official. Olivia was now Mrs. Graham. The reception was grand, filled with music, laughter, and joy. Oliver made sure that every single person from their yard was invited, along with the children from the motherless baby home. They sat at a special table, watching in awe as Olivia and Oliver danced, laughing and holding each other close. Daniel raised a toast. To the woman who gave love without conditions, and to the man who found the treasure he didn't know he needed. May your love story continue to inspire the world. Tears filled Olivia's eyes as she looked around the massive ballroom. She had never dreamed of such a life, but here she was, married to the man she loved, surrounded by people who celebrated her. As the night went on, Oliver held her close and whispered, "Ready for your surprise?" Olivia looked at him, confused. "What surprise?" Oliver smirked and kissed her forehead. "You'll see. The grand surprise, a factory of her own." The morning after the wedding, Oliver drove Olivia to a massive building on the outskirts of the city. It was painted in a soft cream color, with the words, "Olivia's Golden Flower Company," written boldly at the top. Olivia's hands flew to her mouth as she stepped out of the car. Her legs trembled as she looked at the factory in front of her. "Oliver," her voice broke. "What is this?" Oliver took her hands and smiled. "Your dream, my love. This is the factory you always talked about. This is where your flower business will grow into something bigger than you ever imagined." Tears poured down Olivia's face as she turned to look at him. "You did this for me?" "For us," Oliver corrected. "You believed in me when I had nothing. You treated me like a king when I looked like a beggar. You never asked for anything, Olivia. You just gave. And now, it's my turn to give to you." Olivia burst into tears and threw her arms around him. "I love you, Oliver," she sobbed. Oliver held her tightly. "And I will love you for the rest of my life." As they stood in front of the factory, Olivia knew that this was just the beginning of a beautiful, blessed, and golden future. She had given love without expecting anything in return, and love had given her more than she could have ever dreamed of. And so, the girl who once worked under the hot sun, mixing flour with her bare hands, now owned a factory of her own. And beside her was the man who had given her the greatest gift of all, a love that was true. Hello, champions. I hope you enjoyed our stories. Please hit the like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.